Live. Hello, 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 Nikki. It's so lovely to have you join us on the Empowered Parents group. Welcome to our Empowered Parents family. And today we are talking about how we can bring back balance during COVID times and how we can. And we so keen to hear about you and about your journey as a mom, as well as what are some tips you have for the parents in the group on how we can do that. So Nikki is the founder of Transform, Thrive, Unleash, and she supports, is it mainly women, Nikki?
Yeah, predominantly women. Yeah.
Predominantly women, supporting women to transform, thrive, and unleash. And welcome, Nikki, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Yolanda. Thank you so much for having me. We didn't know if we were going to get on this morning or not because Facebook was shut down. So luckily we are here. Yes, I will tell you a little bit about myself, give you a bit of background. So I'm a single mum. I've got a 4-year-old turning 5 or 15, depending on what day of the week it is. I've been a single mum since I was 19 weeks pregnant, so I've not known anything different. And, you know, we are really lucky just to have the two of us. It's been really challenging over COVID times, and I know we're talking about bringing balance back into our life. So I'm a police officer of 21 years. I've been working there, and then one day I burnt out, just like that. I woke up one day, couldn't speak English, no one could understand me. Massive flashbacks, and I had PTSD from my time in the police force. And that happens to a lot of people, not necessarily PTSD, but it's this breakdown. And COVID has been really, really difficult for mums and dads. Having kids at home, homeschooling, a lot more pressure gets added on to the parents. And a lot of the time it is the mums. And so, you know, the situation that I was in where I just hit ground zero, that can happen to anyone. And so I think it's important right now that we are trying to keep up. We're trying to keep our kids schooled. We're trying to keep up with our jobs. We're trying to keep up with everything in the household. And sometimes what we're doing is letting go of all those things that keep us balanced, that keep us okay. And so I think that's a really important thing, because if you're not okay, you know, they talk about putting your mask on first in the plane. You've got to put your own mask on first before you can help others. And so it's a really important time. And I think you would find that, Yolanda, with a lot of your parents, this is a really stressful time for them.
Absolutely. The number of parents that I work with has quadrupled because of the time that parents are going through. I do have a take on it that this is a good time for us to really get down into bringing those practices, as you mentioned, recognizing the importance of them, and creating a bit of routine and bringing that discipline. Discipline equal freedom. So if we can be a little bit more disciplined about making those times for ourselves, in the morning when we start our day, how are we caring for ourselves? How are we through the course of the day where our kids' demands are increasing on ourselves? Are we checking in on ourselves? Are we making sure that we are not giving from an empty cup, or giving from a burnt out state? Or where are we energetically? What energy are we bringing into our parenting? When we interact with our kids, all of these factors are so important. And I think and it's the work that we've done very focused during COVID times, to make sure that this is what our families were doing within themselves and creating within their families, so that when we come out of this time, which we will, and hopefully we're not too far off from there, that's right, that we will enjoy our relationships on a whole new level and look back to be grateful for COVID, for this time when we had the opportunity to stop go within and address our own unique core needs and address how we can all work as a family together. So I'm a single mom too, and we've had I've got one in uni and another doing year 10 this year. And we built our routine. Yes, it was challenging and we missed the friends and we went into those moments, but we also recognized, we allowed ourselves to feel what we were feeling and chose when we were ready to have a new perspective, holding space for all that that it is. And it is real. And wanting things to be different was not going to get us anyway, or wasn't. At the same time, we did need to address the fact that we wanted to meet friends and we wanted to socialize and we wanted to have the birthday party. So I had my oldest turning 21 this year and my younger one turning 16. They were big years for them, and there was lots of plans that had gone into these years. So being okay with the disappointment and also choosing how we wanted to be. And a lot of rituals came out in our home. Lunchtime, we would set out a picnic mat out in the backyard. We did lots more walks. In the weekends, we did times around the fire. So we did a lot. We had a lot of new routines that evolved through COVID times, which is what kept us finding a way to love the present and love where we were at.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And, at the very beginning of COVID, everyone was like, okay, well, this is a time where we can appreciate family. We get to spend more time with our family. We can get out and we can exercise more. And everyone was focused on, there was negatives to being locked down, but there also were some real positives. But unfortunately, as time goes on and it gets longer, and I know both of us are in Melbourne, so we have been in lockdown on and off for a long, long time. And sometimes we lose that perspective, and that's where we can get, frustrated and overwhelmed. It's very easy for that to happen. I find a lot of the clients that I work with, like where we're talking about transforming, which is the first part of it, we look at parts of their life where they feel like they really, like, how do they want to feel in life? Do they want to feel overwhelmed and frustrated, or do they want to feel happy? Do they want to feel free? Which word kind of describes how they like to feel? And it's interesting because then from there, people look at the different ways in which they would create that. And one of them is always the relationships with their friends, their family, and their children. Always. So out of the 4 areas that we look at, we always look at relationships. And most people will say that they want better quality time with their partner. So they feel like with the busyness of life, they're losing that a little bit. And then they're holding some resentment towards potentially children because their relationship might be suffering a little bit because the children are more present, they're at home more. So that's what I'm finding with a lot of my clients. There's a bit of a pattern at the moment where there's strain on the parents' relationship because of COVID and the kids being around a lot more. So the kids are needing more. The mums are not feeling the self-care. They're not feeling like they've got their own time, whether it's to journal, to meditate, to go get a pampering session, get their nails done, or just something like that. And then so they're feeling like that everything's just coming down on them, the time with the kids, and then the homeschooling, and then, they've got to keep up with the schoolwork. And some people don't understand what their kids are learning. That's really hard. And so when all of that is going on, what suffers? Sometimes the relationships with the parents, with the other parent. And so I think that's a really important point at the moment as well to think about in terms of balancing. Yes, you want to empower your parents because you want to have empowered children and you're learning all about that. But you have to also be very protective of your relationship. We're both single parents, so I don't have that to worry about. But do you know what? It does affect my relationships with other people, with my parents, with my brother, because everything is like hyper focused on your children right now because of COVID. So balance can be seen, from a lot of different angles.
Yeah. Lovely. So you've got some tips for us, Nikki, of how can we support parents at this time to bring that balance with their kids, and how can they transform, thrive, and unleash?
So the first one is very important, like Yolanda did with the picnic rug and taking picnic rug out. Make this time, there's something different to it. So make it feel special rather than it feeling like a drag. So what else do you do that is special? Do you play a board game on a Friday night? I mean, we're not socializing as much. So what are we doing of a night time? So can it be like a Friday night game night or something like that? You know, Friday night burger night. Make something for the week that the kids look forward to and they actually see that this is, you know, something good for them. Number two is self-care. You need to look after yourself. It's really, really important that you still take time to do things that are meaningful for you, to keep that calm and that balance for yourself. So is it journaling? Is it meditation? I mean, this is a really important time to journal. Like never before in history has life been like this, ever. You know, never has entire countries been locked down. So it's an amazing time to journal because looking back on it, you won't even believe it. It's like a movie. It's like it's not even real. So journaling at the moment is really important. How you're feeling and how you're coping. You know, journal about the difficulties and, you know, instead of saying, you know, oh, it's so difficult, I don't understand their schoolwork, why don't you actually compare it and say, I can't believe this. The work that my son is doing in grade 5 is what I was doing in year 8. Like, this is insane. So actually find some differences there. So journaling your thoughts out is really important. Whether it's meditation or yoga or Pilates or something that you do. Yes, you might not be able to get out and get a haircut or get your nails done or do as many things as that, but you can be doing some things inside the house that are really
One of my
important.
favorites is put some music and dance, Nikki.
You never can beat a good old dance at home, and do it with the kids. You know,
Yeah,
do it with
absolutely.
the kids like I do with my son. We play freeze. So, you know, he loves that. So he thinks he's a bit, and then he'll say, Mum, you can't dance to this. This is a boys' song. I'm like, okay. He goes, but you're allowed to exercise. So I can, you know, pretend I'm exercising, which is hilarious.
So make it fun, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah. The other things that we focus on in terms of transformation, one is that sort of relationships area. The second is that personal growth and grounding and that self-care aspect, which I've spoken about. The other two that normally come up for people are health. So having sort of optimal health, about exercise, eating well, nourishing your body, and that's really important at the moment to give yourself balance. You have to, you know, look after yourself from a health perspective. And usually the women that I work with have some sort of business or a side hustle, or even during COVID, they've picked up something. And so they're looking at, you know, trying to get that going as well, because a lot of people have seen that having multiple income streams is really, really important. So they're the main 4 aspects that we see. And there were some tips there that I would give you.
Wonderful. That's amazing. So make it special. So have a ritual, have a self-care routine that you stick to and make it a priority, because we cannot give to our kids what we haven't given to ourselves. And optimal health. So your diet, exercise, and sleep are key to making sure that you are getting that right balance and being able to best support your kids. So that's wonderful, Nikki. Tell us a little bit about your business now. What do you do, and how can women reach you, and what have you got to offer?
So we're actually running a webinar tonight, which is our How to Live an Inspired Life. Now, for that, a lot of people, particularly now, don't even know what that even means to them. They're just doing life at the moment. So this is about, you know, living an inspired life and doing something that makes you happy, even though times might be tough. whether or not it's through a job loss or it's just by having kids at home, or you've come out of the other side of COVID and now everything feels a bit strange. So we have that on tonight. It's one of my favorite masterclasses because we've done it so many times and everyone comes back. I've had women come back and do this 4 times. Like, they've loved it so much. They keep coming back because they get something more each time.
Beautiful.
So,
and you'll put a link for us in the comment section, Nikki, for those who want like to join.
Yeah, we can pop I've got one of my team there, Jamie, will be able to pop a link in there.
Lovely.
So people can join tonight. So it's at 8 o'clock. And
8 o'clock Melbourne time.
Melbourne time, yeah. So 8 o'clock Melbourne time tonight. Goes for about 90 minutes. And it's a real practical exercise. So you need your pen and paper. And really going to dive in, and trust me, you'll come out with a completely different perspective on life. So what we are about is, first, you need to know where you are before you can actually make any changes. And where you are, you might think you don't need any changes, but sometimes you don't ask yourself the right questions. That's my job, and that's what we do. So then firstly, from there, we look at where we are. Then we look at transforming as to where we want to go. And then once you start operating in an area where you're at a higher frequency, you're vibing higher. People might say we're vibing higher. You're starting to, really enjoy jumping out of bed in the morning. Think about that. And then, that's where you start thriving and really you can unleash. So I can see there, Jamie, under my name's actually put a link in the chat there. So if anyone would like to join us tonight, they're more than welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to all of the parents watching, if you have any questions for Nikki, if you have tried these and you're looking for some more tips, or you have questions about the tips that Nikki has shared today, and just to tie down those tips again, it is: have a ritual, make it a special time with your kids. Allow for some self-care time for yourself, very important, on a daily basis, and optimize your health, your diet, your sleep. Make sure you've got that in check, because this is what gives us that balance within ourselves, and that's what we share with our kids. So because we're always modeling, and be aware of the models that you have brought in from the way you were parented too. And yes, it's an exciting time if you choose to see it as. It's the first time ever an entire state and countries have gone into lockdown the way we have. My kids get excited and they say, oh my God, we will one day tell our kids about a time that we lived. And very true. And we might never, and I know I say it with a bit of sadness, once we come out of this lockdown, we might never go back here again. And who knows? I know I will miss it, because I have loved, there's so many aspects of this that I absolutely love and have cherished. And yes, there's so many more reasons why I can't wait to get out there and meet people again. So finding that right balance happens within us. Balance is an inner job. And whether COVID happens, was needed for us to recognize that we can create our own little, I don't want to say own COVID within, that doesn't sound right. We can create our own inner quiet time within ourselves, and we have that opportunity because we can see that we are capable of it all, and certainly balance is required. Any last words before we say goodbye, Nikki?
No, I just want to say you cannot fill from an empty cup. So it's really important that you are filling your own cup first. So you've all got this. You're amazing. Thank you, Yolanda, for having me on. It's been nice to join you today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. And to those of you, again, if you have a question, do put in. Nikki will jump on and respond to your questions there. And there's a link in the comment section about her event tonight. I might join you too, Nikki. I look forward to it. So while we are still in lockdown, we have so many opportunities and less things to be running out of the house for. So we look forward to it. And I hope that more of the parents on the group will be joining us too tonight. And see you all. Bye.